By now you all must have probably heard of or watched a movie or a show that have this iconic sound. Netflix, one of the most successful companies in the world. As of September 2021, it has more than 200 million subscribers all across the globe. It became one of the best performing stock which gave out a return of more than 10,000% from 2007 to 2018. But you know what? A very few people know that Netflix is in trouble in 2021. And how it reacts to this situation will determine whether Netflix stock will shoot up again or will crash down. You must be probably thinking that Netflix has given us one of the most epic shows and movies and has maintained its reputation in doing so. So, how is it possible that it is in trouble? Let's find out. The story begins in 1997 when Blockbuster was a market leader in the movie rental service industry. For those who don't know, Blockbuster back then was a billion-dollar company with more than 6,000 stores alone in the US and had a revenue of $3.91 billion. But you know what? 16% of that revenue came from late fees, annoying millions of its customers, and one of the customers was so annoyed and pissed off that he went on to start a company of its own. And the man was none other than Reed Hastings, and the company he founded was Netflix. He was so pissed off by the late fees tradition that the tagline of Netflix itself was "No late fees." They started as a subscription-based DVD in-mail service. So, if you want to watch a movie, instead of going to a Blockbuster store, you can make a list of the movies online and send it to Netflix. They will deliver it in 2 to 3 days. When you return the DVDs that you have, they will send more DVDs. And you can have all of this at an affordable subscription price and without any late fees. This idea became so popular that in 2004, Netflix had a revenue of $500 million. As the popularity of Netflix grew, everyone including Netflix thought that Blockbuster would soon enter the market, and considering the vast network of stores that Blockbuster had, it would have delivered the DVDs which took Netflix 2 to 3 days within just 2 hours, and eventually dominating Netflix. That's why Netflix decided to act first. They invited Blockbuster to become a strategic partner and investor. Netflix would drop the name Netflix and become Blockbuster.com. Blockbuster laughed them out of the boardroom. But in 2004, Blockbuster understood that DVD in-mail service was a huge market, and later that year, they made a huge announcement and launched their own DVD in-mail service. And they started growing so fast that they added more than 2.1 million subscribers in the first year itself. But you know what? Blockbuster still failed. Why? Because they didn't use their existing supply chain, and on top of that, setting up the DVD in-mail service cost them $200 million. But despite all this, the market share kept growing rapidly and they started eating into Netflix revenue. And this is when Netflix identified two major threats to their business. The first was obviously Blockbuster entering the DVD in-mail service, and considering the vast network of stores that Blockbuster have, they could have given much better experience than Netflix using their existing supply chain itself. And secondly, they realized that they had a hidden competitor which was strangely eating into the profits of both Netflix and Blockbuster. In January 2002, Walmart entered the DVD market, and the interesting thing was they did not enter the market to compete with Netflix or Blockbuster or to make any profits on DVDs. So now the question is, why did they enter the market? Well, as it turns out, they entered the market because they were using a pricing model called the loss leader pricing model. It is a type of pricing model wherein a product is sold at a price below its market cost to stimulate other sales of more profitable goods and services. Walmart was giving the DVDs on rent at an ultra cheap price just so that it could attract the customers to come to Walmart and eventually inviting them to buy other more profitable products. Basically, Walmart didn't care about making profits with DVDs, which was the main business of Netflix and Blockbuster. Despite all of this, Netflix market share kept growing, and in 2007, it celebrated the delivery of its billionth DVD. And this is when Netflix ventured into online streaming. They invested massively in building a personal recommendation algorithm and used the internet to deliver the service. And this is how Netflix, the OTT platform that we know today, was born. Meanwhile, Blockbuster crippled with debt and eventually filed for bankruptcy. Netflix adopted the internet in the early years like YouTube and Facebook, and in the next 10 years went on to become one of the most successful companies in the stock market. But as they say, history always repeats itself. In 2021, Netflix is facing the same two threats that it faced in the 2000s. The first threat is, just like Blockbuster already had a successful network of stores and all it needed to do was just to go online and it could have beaten Netflix without any extra efforts. Just like that, in 2021, Disney and HBO already have an extremely profitable business. Disney makes billions of dollars through theater releases, and before the movies even come to the OTT platform, they have already made the company a ton of money. And HBO does the same through television network. And all these companies need to do is start pulling out their content from Netflix and Prime and launch them into their own OTT platforms, which might be happening soon. And this is the threat that Netflix knew way back in 2011. They knew that someday these companies will start pulling out their content and they can't make profits only by showing movies of other companies. So, in 2011, Netflix announced the production of its first piece of original content, and this is what gave us the iconic House of Cards in 2013. From then onwards, Netflix invested massively in producing their own content and become a production company by itself. And all of this is being done just so that they can keep their subscribers from leaving even when everybody is pulling out their content. But then, producing content like House of Cards requires a huge budget, and if they have to consistently keep doing it, they need to bring in more and more revenue. But considering that the only stream of income Netflix has is the subscription fees, leads us to the second threat. Just like Walmart in 2002, Amazon Prime Video in 2021 is using the loss leader pricing model to attract customers at an ultra cheap price that it is almost impossible for Netflix to match its prices. One of the best examples of this is Jack Ryan and Homecoming. If you closely look at both of these series, you will realize that the kind of money they have invested into producing this series, it is impossible that they make profits through the Prime Video subscription. Now, Amazon is doing this because Amazon doesn't care about making money through the Prime Video subscription. Because if you are a Prime subscriber, you will eventually buy the more expensive products from Amazon, and this is how Amazon will make more profits. Hence, just like Walmart, Amazon is using the core business of Netflix to serve as a loss leader, which makes it nearly impossible for Netflix to compete with Amazon. Now, it's not like Netflix will go bankrupt or anything like that, but it may not be the market leader as it is today. But whenever this type of competition happens between companies, whether it be Apple versus Samsung or Nike versus Adidas or even Netflix versus Blockbuster, companies try to compete with each other and intentionally or unintentionally they make something innovative that changes the entire world, which ultimately benefits us. And that brings us to the most important question: will Netflix survive again? I'll leave that one to you guys. Comment down your thoughts on that. Also, I have a bunch of amazing videos planned, so consider subscribing. It's free and also means a lot. Hit that like button so the YouTube algorithm can recommend this video to more people just like it did to you. Till the next video, stay tuned. Thank you.